Alright, hey gamers, you are watching or listening to What You Gaming On, where every episode we start with asking you, what are you gaming on? If you want to tell us what you're gaming on, you can email what you're gaming on and what you like about the game, what you don't like about the game, what you wish you were gaming on at whatyougamingon@gmail.com, and I will feature all of your answers in future episodes. Unfortunately, we didn't have anyone emailing in what they were gaming on, so we're going to talk a little about what I've been gaming on, and I've actually been on a kind of Ubisoft binge, which every now and then I'll kind of fall into. There's a lot of Ubisoft games I like, and recently I've just kind of been playing all of the ones that I like. And I've actually been starting with playing Far Cry 4. Mostly because I want to get kind of hyped and ready for Far Cry 5, which looks super good, but I haven't played Far Cry 4 before until now, and the only one I've played is Far Cry. Before now, the only one I've played is Far Cry 3, which was just a phenomenal game, and I loved the mechanics of it. They were very smooth. I loved the story, and most of all, I loved the bad guy. I loved the villain, which there are so many movies and TV shows and video games that just the quality of their story rests solely on just having a great villain to go against, and Far Cry 3 is definitely one of them. They introduced the character of it's been a minute since I've played it, so I think his name was Voss. I might be wrong in that, but they introduced this character of Voss, who was actually played by the actor who plays, oh god, I can't remember that. He's one of the actors that plays God, I can't remember his name. He's one of the actors that plays in Better Call Saul. He's the actor that plays in Better Call Saul that isn't Bob Odenkirk. But just such a great villain, and they introduce him just right in the very beginning of the game, and he's the big bad of the game. And you go through the game, he's taunting you, you're taking out his guys, and finally you kill him, and then the game keeps going and going, and then you're trying to kill Voss's boss, which you've heard like very little about, and I didn't care about that character anymore. I didn't care about Voss's boss. I cared about killing Voss, but then you go against his boss, and it felt like it dragged on. It felt like it dragged on, and I just got bored with it. I don't even think I finished it because I got bored. Like, after I killed Voss, I was just kind of bored with the rest of the game. But now I'm playing Far Cry 4. I'm enjoying the story. I'm enjoying the villain of Pagan Min, who is there a character that's voiced by Troy Baker that isn't just a great villain, who just isn't a great character. He just does a fantastic job as Pagan Min. But the game itself of Far Cry 4, I'm finding to be just incredibly similar to Far Cry 3. Like, it's like they definitely kind of copy and pasted a lot of the features from Far Cry 3 into Far Cry 4. Not to say that Far Cry 4 is bad or that it's just a pale imitation of Far Cry 3. It's not. It definitely has its own identity, but everything about the mechanics of it are just the same as Far Cry 3, which I don't think is a bad thing. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And Ubisoft does this a lot with their games, is they kind of just make the same game over and over and over, but they put different titles on it, and, you know, hope we don't notice. But we kind of do, especially look at the Assassin's Creed series. For God, what, 10 years? 10, 11 years? Like, they've pretty much been putting out the same Assassin's Creed game over and over, just with a new coat of paint. And, you know, I'm definitely the person that's been buying into it. I love the Assassin's Creed series. It's one of the other games I've been playing. And then, you know, Watch Dogs, they definitely added some new things to it, you know, that, you know, you're using a drone, you're using computers and cameras to do things instead of, like, you know, Assassin's Creed stealth stuff. But even with Watch Dogs, there's so many features in Watch Dogs that you can tell are from other games. And then just the most Ubisoft game that ever Ubisofted is Ghost Recon Wildlands, which every part of that game is from another game. It's like they just took parts from all of the games and put it in one game, and that was Ghost Recon Wildlands, which I've also been playing a little bit of that as well. But the other Ubisoft games I've been playing, specifically just in this Ubisoft binge, was Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed. Specifically, Watch Dogs 2, which I actually noticed something that I guess I've never really thought about before. Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed are in a shared universe. They take place in the shared universe. Watch Dogs was actually introduced in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where you get like an email from Bloom, and they're talking about the CTOS security and that they can help Abstergo Industries, with their security. And then in Watch Dogs 1, you actually kill Olivier Garneau, who is the creative director for Abstergo Entertainment, who is a character in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And then you actually get confirmation that this is something that did happen. This wasn't just an Easter egg. This wasn't something that, was just something thrown in there just to be like, ooh, cool. No, this is something that had confirmation of happening in the Assassin's Creed universe, which, shows that it is a shared universe. And you even get picture confirmation of Aidan Quinn in Watch Dogs 1 killing Olivier Garneau, which kind of cements the fact that Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed are in a shared universe. Where it gets complicated, though, is in Assassin's Creed Origins. In the same place that you see the confirmation picture of Aidan Quinn killing Olivier Garneau, you also see that the events from the Assassin's Creed movie actually are part of the Assassin's Creed canon. The events in the movie take place in the Assassin's Creed canon. They are canon. The things with Jeremy Irons, all of the present day assassin stuff that happens in that movie, and the past Assassin's Creed stuff that happens in that movie are part of the Assassin's Creed canon. But then in Watch Dogs 2, Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed, especially Assassin's Creed Black Flag and on, they've been very meta. Like, as they established that Ubisoft is an actual company in the Assassin's Creed Watch Dog universe, and you actually see an Ubisoft Studios in San Francisco in Watch Dogs 2, and they're on their building, they are advertising the Assassin's Creed movie, the movie that has the past and present events that happen in the Assassin's Creed lore that are canon, that are discussed in Assassin's Creed Origins. So you could easily explain this off with just saying that, oh, well, it's saying that it's that movie, but it's not really that movie. It's a different movie, but it's still about Aguilar, who is the assassin in Assassin's Creed movie. You can explain it away any way you want. Personally, I think this was just a moment that Ubisoft bit off more metagaming than they could. But it's just something interesting I thought of, that just playing these games, seeing these things back to back, it made me realize how confusing that can get. But those are the games I've been playing. So if you want to let me know what games you've been playing, what you're gaming on, email me at whatyogamingon@gmail.com, and your answers will be featured in upcoming videos for What You Gaming On. So let's go ahead and get into some gaming news. So Blizzard has posted a job advertisement for an engineer to work on a new game. In the job description, they say that they're looking for someone who is passionate about both role-playing game RPGs and mobile games. So from this, it looks like they are developing some kind of RPG game for mobile devices, for your iPhone, for your Android, for whichever phone you're using. They are developing a new mobile game for it, or it may not be a new game. It's very possible that they could just be trying to port over one of their older games, like a Diablo game, like one of the StarCraft or Warcraft games, or even Heroes of the Storm, if they wanted to put that onto mobile, as I know, like the PvP games have been going to mobile, like PUBG Battlegrounds or Underground, whatever the Public Enemy. I can't remember the name of the game. I don't play it, but Fortnite just went to mobiles, which has become a PvP game, which I have plenty to say about that on another video or another podcast. But it could be Heroes of the Storm. It could be one of the games that they're just porting over. I don't think that there's a platform that Blizzard hasn't touched at this point. They've done PC, they've done console. This wouldn't be their first mobile game. Among the number of World of Warcraft apps that communicate with the World of Warcraft game, like they for both Warlords of Draenor and Legion, they had the app that allowed you to do class hall and garrison daily missions on your phone, so you didn't have to go in the game to take care of them. You could just do them on your phone. But they also have Hearthstone, which is the World of Warcraft card game. They have that on mobile, which, in my personal opinion, I think mobile is the ideal way to play Hearthstone. If you're going to play it, I think the best way to do it is on mobile. So this isn't the first time that they're going into mobile. They could also be maybe they could be like porting actual World of Warcraft onto mobile devices, which, I mean, let's face it, I would pay money for that. I love playing World of Warcraft. I would pay money to be able to play World of Warcraft on my phone. The problem is, whenever console games or PC games are ported over to mobile, they take up so much data space. They also burn out your battery. And then finally, the controls just aren't ideal. The controls that they kind of transition into mobile, they just don't work that well, and playing the game it feels very cumbersome. It feels frustrating to play it trying to work with those controls. Even older games like Chrono Trigger, the controls just aren't ideal for the mobile platform. So hopefully this isn't just going to be a port of one of their older games that's going to have clunky controls as it transitions to mobile. Hopefully this will be like a new title, something brand new from Blizzard that is made to be ideal for playing it on mobile devices. Speaking earlier about Ubisoft, they've actually announced that Destiny 2 is a thing, that they are working on Destiny 2. They haven't said any other details about it, just that it is going to be a thing. Chances are we'll see more about Destiny 2 or get more information about Destiny 2 at E3 2018. But The Division, again, an Ubisoft game, I loved playing The Division the first time. I'm just an avid I'm an avid solo single player gamer. I very rarely touch multiplayer games. So playing The Division single player is a lot of fun the first time. You get to explore New York and you get to explore New York, and it looks amazing. You get to see kind of the effects of what's going on in this story and, play through the main campaign. But once you finish the campaign, there's not much else to do except for dailies, which dailies is one of the least fun things in video games for me. I hate doing dailies. I hate doing repetition. I hate the repetitiveness of dailies in video games where I just don't really care about the dailies. I like playing through the story. I like seeing the different parts of the story and different characters. When I'm doing dailies, it's just grinding and it's boring and I don't like doing it. So after you beat Division, after you beat the main campaign, I was just kind of done. I've tried going back to it. I've tried doing the dailies. I've tried gearing up for the big raids, but I don't enjoy them as much as I enjoy just playing through the story of The Division. So that's something I hope to see in the upcoming in The Division 2. That's something I hope to see, just more single player content. And then something else I'd like to see, two more things I'd like to see in The Division 2 is also a new setting. I mean, Ubisoft, if there is one thing they are great at, Ubisoft does an amazing job in recreating actual cities for you to explore, like New York, like San Francisco in Watch Dogs, like Chicago in Watch Dogs 1, San Francisco in Watch Dogs 2, like any number of the Assassin's Creed games where you travel throughout these big cities across the world, like Paris. That's something Ubisoft has just always been very good at. So I would love to see them tackle a new city. I hope I hope this Division 2 isn't just in New York again, because I would love to see a new city. I would also love to see how other areas of the country are being affected by the dollar flu, by being affected by this epidemic that's wiping out humanity. Like how they're dealing with it, how other divisions are dealing with it. And with a new setting, I would also like to see a new season. Instead of this just forever winter in Division, I would love to see a new season like summer, where instead of dealing with the cold, we're dealing with the heat, where you have to, manage your gear and what you're wearing so you don't get a heat stroke carrying all your gear as you're traveling around whatever city you're in. To see how people are surviving without electricity, without AC, without running water, like how people are living in a new setting and a new season. That's some things I would like to see in Destiny 2. I'm sorry, not Destiny 2, in Division 2. So another hiring advertisement has gone out, and this time it's from Square. It's from Square Enix, and it's for the Final Fantasy VII remake team, and they want to point out that this new hire that they're trying to get is not a last minute hire to tackle overflowing workload, which makes me think that this actually is a last minute hire to tackle overflowing workload. I mean, how long have they been working on this game? Like they've had to have been working on this game as long as, or almost as long as, Kingdom Hearts 3. Like even I think it was for the PS3 that they did this, where they kind of showed off their new PS3 console with kind of a recreated Final Fantasy VII introduction featuring Cloud and the train, and you saw that, and that was the big advertisement for like the new, I think it was for the new PlayStation 3, and it got everyone hyped, and since then it has to be written on a board somewhere or in someone's papers that, you know, maybe we should remake Final Fantasy VII because it will make us a buttload of money because people will buy it. And it's that's been going on for, God, maybe 10 years. I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while. But I'm also of the opinion that Final Fantasy VII, just like Kingdom Hearts 3, isn't actually a real game. I don't think these games exist. I don't think they're coming out. I think all of the footage and pictures we see of them are just all a hoax. They're all a conspiracy, that these games will never exist. I will believe that these games exist, that these games are coming out, that they are actively working on them when I am sitting in my couch playing the game. That is the only time I will truly believe these games exist. Until then, I think everything we're seeing is just a hoax. It's just Square Enix trying to hype us up and keep them relevant while they make other games. So Shadow of the Tomb Raider has been announced. It has been announced in just the briefest of teasers that only show just like very brief images or a brief video, and they said that they will do like an official big announcement at the end of April. What we see in the Shadow of the Tomb Raider trailer is Laura running through the jungle, and then we see either an Aztec or Mayan temple. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's definitely Aztec or Mayan. So that gives me the idea that this game is going to be playing either going to be taking place in South America or Mexico, and I'm actually kind of relieved about that, because I thought the settings for both Tomb Raider and then Rise of the Tomb Raider were just really similar, just too similar. It didn't feel like it was anything new. It didn't feel like a new setting. So I'm glad that we're going to be like in a jungle, in a new kind of environment, and just on this new chase for whatever artifact or whatever mystery she's trying to uncover, or she's trying to stop Trinity, whatever the story for Shadow of the Tomb Raider is. I'm actually glad it's going to be in kind of a jungle setting, which will be new for this series. But as excited as I am, I don't want to get my hopes too high up for this game, because that's kind of where it bit me in the ass for it. Like for the original Tomb Raider reboot, not the original Tomb Raider, but the Tomb Raider reboot, I played it when it came out remastered for the PlayStation 4, which is basically just they made it a little shinier. I played it on the PS4, and it was, without a doubt, one of the best games I have ever played. The story was great. I loved seeing the character of Lara Croft as like starting out as young and then growing into being the Tomb Raider in that game. I loved the kind of reaction moments and the cinematic moments in that game. Just this game, Tomb Raider, the Tomb Raider reboot, was just one of the best games I've ever played. So when I sat down and I played Rise of the Tomb Raider, the fact that the quality of it was just as good as the first Tomb Raider, but I was still kind of disappointed because I didn't have that same, wow, this is one of the best games I've ever played, because it was more or less fairly the same as Tomb Raider, and I was kind of disappointed, and that wasn't the game's fault. That was my fault, because I was expecting to again play one of the best games I've ever played, and Rise of the Tomb Raider just wasn't wasn't that reaction because it was just as good as the first Tomb Raider reboot. So, it is a solid game. Rise of the Tomb Raider is a solid game. So, going back and playing it, kind of reeling in my expectations of recapturing that wow moment with the first Tomb Raider reboot. I really enjoyed Rise of the Tomb Raider, but because of that, I don't want to set my sights too high for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. I'm sure whatever they do, it's going to be great. I'm excited for this game. It's a game I've been looking forward to. I love the kind of action adventure Indiana Jones games. That's definitely one of my favorite types of games. So there is a rumor going around that Grand Theft Auto 6 is being made, and that Rockstar is looking at a 2021 or 2022 release date, and that the game will take place in South America and, wait for it, Vice City. So it looks like we are going to be going back to Vice City, which is what everyone has wanted ever since they started remaking the cities from the earlier games, from Grand Theft Auto 3 and on. We saw Liberty City in Grand Theft Auto 4, and then we saw San Andreas Los Santos in Grand Theft Auto 5. Everyone has been wanting Vice City to be Grand Theft Auto 6, except for me. I think I might be the only person who is not all that excited to go back to Vice City. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm excited to go back to Vice City. I just don't think Vice City is the right setting to follow Los Santos, as both cities are going to be very similar. They're both going to be the beach celebrity club kind of city. But I do think the fact that the game is apparently going to take place traveling between Vice City and South America will kind of change that. So it'll give us a new setting aside from Vice City. But I mean, I'm excited about the game. But personally, the other cities that I would prefer to visit in Grand Theft Auto 6 would be any of the other San Andreas cities, because they would be so different from Los Santos and from the other cities in Grand Theft Auto. I would love to go back to San Fierro, that kind of bay, hipster, Silicon Valley tech city, or into Las Venturas, which is, the Las Vegas of San Andreas, that it's this desert casino mob town. Either one of these settings, I think, would have been the perfect setting for a Grand Theft Auto 6, and then we could go back to go to Vice City in Grand Theft Auto 7. I don't think Vice City is the best city to follow Los Santos, but it looks like, according to this rumor, that's what it's going to be. So regardless of where it is, I'm excited about the game. I love the Grand Theft Auto series. I love the action in it. I love the gameplay. I love the humor and the satire of it, which people find super offensive, which I'm not saying they shouldn't be kind of offended by it. It is a somewhat offensive game, but it's also satire. It's no more offensive than the real world and real world events and the real society that it's satirizing. So, and I don't think people will get that, and I don't think people want to get that. But I am a big fan of the Grand Theft Auto series, and Grand Theft Auto 5 was such a great game. I can't wait to see how Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be. So that is it for our second episode of What You Gaming On. Let me know what you thought of all of the gaming news or the things I've been gaming on. And remember, if you want to be featured in a future episode of What You Gaming On, just email whatyougamingon@gmail.com and tell me the game that you're playing and what you like about it, what you don't like about it, what game you wish you were playing. Tell me all about it in your email, and you will be featured in future episodes of What You Gaming On. So with that, I'm going to get out of here, so keep on gaming, gamers.